Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. This is going to be, as you can read by the title, I'm probably gonna name it like Broken Perks or something like that. It's really just a game that I had when playing, as you can see, Myers. It showcases really well how broken the perks in this game can be, especially for the survivor side. So this is gonna be a good analysis of the match and everything. You guys will probably have to agree with me once the match is done. So right now, try to find them using whispers, of course, to find them as well. And you can see this is good on Mars if you can get him stalk them without them being able to see you. That's ideal. So right there, I already got my full stock, almost level 2 already. So not gonna have to be looped while trying to stalk, which is a really bad thing. Wastes a lot of time. One of the weaknesses of Myers is this process right here, having to kind of stalk before you can even like begin chasing people. That's kind of just wasting time. That's definitely a negative. So right here, not breaking a pallet because it's an unsafe pallet. So I just by changing the angle like you saw me do there, it's pretty much becomes a 50-50 right away, which he has very little chance of winning. And just like that, first chase in like what less than 30 seconds, getting a few stock there, I was able to see her. And notice I didn't break the pallet again, so that's an unsafe pallet, so we don't want to break unsafe pallets. It's actually good that the survivors vault them because it gives us free hits. So right there, I noticed, you see I looked back, I noticed she was probably going to be waiting there, thinking that I would leave so she can save him. So that gives me a bit more stock. You always want to have the tier 2 ready all the time so you can use on crucial situations. You see, like right now I have it ready, so what I'm going to do, because she's looping right next to the hook, so that allows me to defend the hook while chasing her at the same time, which means there's essentially 3 people not doing gens, because two of them, one's on the hook, one I'm chasing, and the other one is trying to save, which in this case was a David. 3 people not doing gens while someone is dying is really good for me. So right there, he actually walked behind me as I was moonwalking, so that's why I didn't see him. But I quickly adapted. So I'm gonna slug the David, and I'm gonna go for was it a Bill again, so I can get him out of the game already, make it a 3v1, and get a ton of pressure that way. Now you see me waiting here. I'm waiting for borrowed time. That's why I waited 15 seconds before I hit him. Make sure borrow time doesn't activate. Which, for David to save him like that in front of me, it was probably likely that he had borrow time, or he just didn't expect me to have tier 3 ready. Just what I mentioned, it's crucial that you have tier 3. So, people went for the heal there. Pretty much no one is doing gen at this point. Even though they got my ruin, no, would have been even better if my ruin was still active, because, all the gens would be regressing right now, because pretty much no one is doing gens. They all kind of moved themselves to go for the save here. Especially after I slugged the David, that was easily like 3 people not doing gens to get back from that situation. Now, unfortunately, my tier 3 ended here, not using any add-ons, as usual. So, if it lasted a little bit longer, I could probably down her with the tier 3. Now, right here is probably good if I go back to the hook, because, they're probably going to go for, yeah, right there, go for the save. I was able to stalk her a little bit before, so I'm ready when I start my next chase. And you see, they got a gen done, right? Is Ruina's active? I'm pretty sure that gen would not have been finished at this point because it would have been regressed, but oh well. So again, getting my stock, even though he's injured, especially because I'm about to eliminate him. So I want to make sure I get all the stock I can from him before he dies, as I won't be able to do that again. And you see again, just proving my point that it's very good that you have tier 2 ready all the time. You don't want to like waste time just to get to your tree. Like if I can down him, I'm gonna down him before stalking. But if I have the ability to stalk, I have no chance, and I can't really down him right away. I might as well just stalk him. So I'm kind of getting ready up for later, so I can use my tier 2. Like you saw right there, that David just got like twice in a row. He got like fucking screwed over by tier 3, thinking I was not ready. Don't do that as well when playing against Myers. It's never smart to take that risk. Just stay in front of him like that. He can easily like just pop tier 3 and kill you. So same thing again. This is from this angle at least. Is not a safe pallet. And he's playing this wrong. The way he needs he needs to play this is go to the other side of the wall, not keep vaulting the pallet like this. Because if he keeps vaulting, it's essentially a 50-50. I'll eventually get him. I mean, see, he got scared because he knows it's a 50-50, so he eventually left the pallet. And that's when I just took my chance to force his mistake, which I baited the dead hard because pretty likely that he would have it. Now, so far, you guys have not been able to see the perks that I mentioned that are broken, but be advised, they have already been used, a few of them, and you guys will see that later once the match ends. But so he's on the hook now. So we're trying to find more pressure here. This is probably a bad area. I shouldn't be here. Because the gen's already done. So I was mostly, I think, because of whispers. I was kind of checking here, but there's a few gens you can see they're kind of close to the hook, and you can see he's going for the save there. So there's two people in my sight. So at max, only one person is doing the gen right now, which is good. Gens are being done, but they're not gonna be done that fast at this rate. So again, I'm going for him because he's already injured, and I don't even have my tier 3 ready. If I had at least my tier 3 ready, it could be worth going for the other guy to save him, because then he would be injured, and I'll be able to also slug the other one, possibly, or two people kind of out of action, so to speak. So, but in this case, I don't have tier 3 ready, and this David is already injured, and mostly on a safe area of the map is more beneficial that I go for him. However, he could have the S, which that would kind of work against me if he does. We'll see. I'm taking a risk here, by the way. I know this, but I'm kind of choosing to take the risk, especially because that build didn't have the DS. But usually, if you want to play safe, it would be better to not pick him up and just slug him instead, and try to apply more pressure while the DS is going off, cooling down. And from my ears, I can already tell they're trying to work on this gen right next to me where I'm looping him. So you see right now, he's kind of stuck here because, I'm not breaking a pallet. So I can use this time to actually stalk him. And, instead of breaking a pallet and giving him the leeway to go to another area. But he's wasting pallets, so that's not that bad. And he's wasting pallets on the middle, which is the, bit of a crucial area there. So this is good for me, but it cannot take too long. Otherwise, the gen's going to get done, as you can tell. And you see that gen on the back was done by the Fang. So the Jake is already on that gen that I kicked earlier. So I know that in my head. That's why I'm trying to down this guy really quickly. And luckily, he's taking me to the gen right there. As you can see, the gen's to my left. You see again an example of a broken perk. All that pressure is like 100% gone right now simply because of that hard right there for distance. There's no counterplay to it. So you see, if I was able to down him right there, this would have been a 2 slug. Just because of that stupid perk, now it's only a 1 slug, Just to see how fair the perks are. So now that allows that David that got away to pressure this gen, because of that dead heart. And if if Fang is not already on that other gen, pressuring her as well. Which essentially means game over for me because, there's only 2 gen left. So right there you can tell how... oh, by the way, DS as well, If he didn't have DS, which is another broken perk, he would have been on second hook already, possibly already dead, if this David was not using the DS. Just so you can see how much the perks influence the match, like ridiculously amount, how much they influence. Right there, I actually not sure how that stunned me. I think I actually tried to avoid it, but the hitbox is too big. I don't know. So I came back to the gen because I know they're gonna be trying to pressure it. Now, unfortunately, that's so unlucky. Like a single add-on right there would have made the entire difference as well for killer. Which is this is what I mean. Like add-ons for killer, they just kind of make this type of difference. That little small difference right there, just a little extra down that I would have gotten right there with an extra duration add-on. That's kind of the difference you get from using add-ons and not using add-ons on killer is that little extra tiny, almost not worth mentioning edge. Whereas the survivor, you literally win the match just because of a perk, So it's a completely different balance situation here regarding add-ons and regarding perks for the survivors. Not to mention, I'm mentioning perks, right? They can still use add-ons, items on top of that to make it even more broken. In this case, they don't seem to be using. Well, I think they're actually using medkits, so that's also, something to consider on top of the perks they're already using. As you can see, the Jake was pressuring the other gen, like any good survivor friends, which is good. They're coordinating. So at this point, they're gonna be crazy trying to pressure this gen. I know that. So I know, you see right there, I know that Jake is not near any gens, so he's not doing anything. And if he try to go for the save, I'll see him. I'll be able to spot him from afar. So I'm just gonna chill out here while the gen is regressing, so I can buy more time later, because I know they're gonna go back to this gen eventually. So it might as well be regressed as much as it can before that happens. And you see, he made a move there. He went for the save, so I need to make a move as well. Which I did. And you see right now, the fact that I was waiting there to regress made all the difference. Otherwise, this gen would have been done right now if I didn't wait it all that time, letting it regress. And you see, he's smart. He's pushing me away from the gen, pushing the chase away from the gen. so that I cannot, if I commit to going for him, the Fang can then finish the gen, So he's forcing me into a lose-lose situation by going away like that. And you see right there, I know he's gonna try again. I know he's gonna try to push that gen, so that's why I came back. And he was smart enough to not be too close. Otherwise, it would be game over right there, because I would have been able to chase him. Now, obviously, I did not have to go back because they were both down. However, the reason why I picked him up was because of this right there, Unbreakable, which is the other broken perk in this match, having an insane amount of influence on the results, regardless of skill, of course, because it takes no skill to use these perks. They're just like a crutch that's available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. No price of admission. So right there, he's already healed. Remember, like I mentioned, they can still use items on top of the broken perks. So he used the item right there to heal himself without having self-care. Otherwise, he would have been at the end down right there because he would have been injured. So again, just another how much of a difference it makes these type of items and perks in the game. Especially when you're playing a low to mid-tier killer like I'm doing here with Myers, especially with no add-ons. So again, I kind of have no choice here because they're all gonna spread out and try to heal. The smartest thing they could do right now is really go to another gen, not the gen in the middle, just find another one and do it. Because then I kind of have no choice because I can't defend both gens at once. So that David that's on the corner right there, that was looking right there behind the house, he should be doing that gen right now, and that would ensure that I have no chance of stopping the gens eventually. Just a matter of time. So again, another also, the map also plays a big role. Let's disregard the perks and all the items they're using. That's already having a huge influence on the match. You still have maps like this that you have like super safe windows and safe pallets right next to it. Like every pallet every 16 meters from each other, which, on situations like this when you need to get it down, these pallets can also make all the difference. Like you need to get it down, but hey, guess what? They have another pallet right there just waiting for them that you cannot mind game or counterplay at all as a mid to low tier killer. So he fucked up right there. He shouldn't be hiding like that. Which again, just to show that they're not actually smart, good players. They're just having the crutch perks carry them through the match. And he should have been doing this gen right here, or finding a third gen would be even better. They need to spread out right now. They should not stay together. They need to do multiple gems together, so I have no chance to defend everything. And you see right there, she spotted the hatch, so did I. So that might help me in the end of the game. Now again, I didn't mention it, I don't want to spoil, but I just think that was probably another Unbreakable. Okay, so I think we had maybe 2 or 3 Unbreakables at this point. It's possible that we had 2 or 3 Unbreakables in this match so far. We also had 1 DS, like I remember, and that was that little dead hard that changed the entire. The other dead hards, I baited them, so that was a little bit of skill there. Overwhelming the crutch factor. However, for distance in that case from their window, you guys saw on the bus, there's really no counterplay to that, so no amount of skill in the world can really counter that. But the other ones, I was still at least able to bait it, okay? So now we have a bit more, after all this, bullshit that we had to deal with, I'm still managed to, with a little bit of strategy, to hold a very, very strong position right here, as you can see. Notice how it hooked her kind of in between the gens. So they have to really work to get her out. Now, unfortunately, it would have been best if I was able to spot that Jake before he got the save. But yeah, at this point, not much I can do because it's 3v1. I cannot be at 3 places at once. So now I have to make a decision, right? Because again, you remember, she can still have DS. So she's pretty much untouchable for 1 minute now. And just like that, as I expected, because I also notice how long it takes for me to go back to the gen because I'm a low to mid tier killer. And the maps are fucking huge. So you cannot cross the map like that very quickly. Otherwise, I would have been able to stop the gen from getting done. Unless you're like a nurse, Spears, a Billy maybe, that has the kind of ability, which is part of what makes them the top tier killers in the game, is them ability so you can stop this type of bullshit that you just saw happen. Where I know they're at the gen, but I just cannot get there in time because the killer is too slow. And she did have the S. And because it's a level 3, she has actually 1 minute. So if it was level 1, that DS was probably would have already been done, and I would have been able to grab her right there. And he's already waiting at the door, so it's pretty much GG. And the only thing I can do right now is really try to get her, unless she might have that Hardy as well for distance, which again, it seems like she didn't even need it anyway. But if she also had that hard, she could have used that hard right there for distance, just like that David used on the window, and it would kind of cheat her way, so to speak, to victory again using a perk. So as you can see, like right there, this is a good example. Like you can see that I'm a skill. I know what I'm doing. I know how to chase. I know how to play strategically, and even when all this bullshit happens, I can still work. Come back and get a position of strong position of control in the game. However, if they have that many amount of crutches, you gotta understand that just not there's only so much you can do, especially depending on the killer that you're using. And as you can see, I love how the game, even a game like this, you actually get no pit from it. Like the game actually punishes you, even though it was really just the perks doing the job, not really the survivors, and not even your fault. You just played your best, but still the game punishes you for not being able to kill all 4 survivors, even though you actually played 100%. So as you can see right there, I'm gonna actually play it again so you guys can see better. So I mean, I think it was pretty clear, and it was pretty, you can see right there they had like 4 unbreakables, and I think everyone was using DS as well, except for the Bill. Which is kind of lucky on my part, right? Because if he had that hard, DS as well, I would also have eaten DS on that first chase, and it would have been even worse probably. But as you can see, I guess all those 3 that had Unbreakable right there, they actually happened to use it. And you see, one of them I also had the brand new part there as well, which, like I mentioned, they can still use the broken items on top of broken perks to make it even more balanced. And they can multiply that by 4 because it's 4 survivors, right? Against 1 killer. So what I mean, I'm not trying to hate at the game here, guys. I'm just trying to, show you guys the reality. This is more like a reality check because as you're playing killer and you have to deal with this bullshit, just understand there's a limit to how much you can do to your skill. Don't believe those arguments that like, oh, you lost because you didn't play well or you play badly or no, you're just not a good killer. You have to camp ton or whatever. Don't there's a reality, and the reality is that because of these perks, and the audience especially combined with that, it's survivor favorite. It's simply a survivor favorite. There's nothing you can do if you're playing a mid to low tier kid. Anything that's like below spirit or nurse, essentially. There's just nothing you can do because there's just too many crutches the survivors can use that will essentially revert your strong positioning into a weak positioning. So, like you completely get a 4K for example, but hey, guess what? They have Unbreakable and now everyone is back up again. It's like that's too many crutches that completely revert the results of the game to the point where there's not much you can do because you only have so much time. As a killer, the gens are gonna get done eventually if there's so many people running around doing gens. So you just gotta understand. My point here is don't get like mad at yourself, or just understand the game for what it is right now at least, and understand that this is a broken scenario and there's nothing you can do in this scenario. You saw me doing everything I could have done possibly as the killer that I was using, and the person whatever that I was using. And there's nothing you can do. 100% is simply not enough to deal with this amount of crutches. So just understand that when it's your fault, you actually play bad, and when there is simply the game, that it requires more than that is capable of doing mechanically. Literally mechanically. It's not about skill. The Marius could not have done anything out more than what I did on that match. So even if I had like a aura X-ray vision, I still wouldn't be able to counter those perks. Cause these perks are no counter, and that's really the essence of unbalancement is really no counter things. When a game has things that have no counter to it, that's when the game becomes broken. Okay, is when they have things that have no counter to it and they are insanely powerful, or they don't have it. They don't have any like they have no punishment. They like for example deliverance, they at least have to save someone before they can use it. Like DS and shit like that, they have no requirement. They can just use it anytime. So and there's no counterplay to it. So these factors is what makes things broken in any sort of video game, not just the Dead by Daylight. Okay, guys. So that's the video. That's a very good analysis there. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you guys learned something. And I see you guys on the next one. Take care.